Hello and thanks for stopping by. This is Battlestar Galactica for the PlayStation 2, released by Universal Interactive in 2003. This is a space shooter based on the classic Battlestar Galactica franchise. We're talking the late 1970s sci-fi adventure, not the science fiction channel reboot, which I've seen some and is actually pretty good, so I have no complaints there. Anyway, there are differences between the two series, and this is from the first series, which means you're fighting the Cylon robot enemies that are in the big silver suits, and they're flying around in these sort of flat, split-disc spaceships. As far as science fiction series are concerned, Battlestar Galactica is a decent one. As far as this particular game is really hectic overall. I jumped into this game pretty quick, and I was off flying around and shooting things pretty much straight away. The one thing that really stood out at this point, though, probably was how difficult this game was. Or at least specifically the very first level. I was flying around shooting the enemy left and right. I must have destroyed close to 20 ships. And then the level was over and I lost. Not because I got destroyed, but because the main fleet ship was destroyed. Okay, so I think it's kind of useful to go into the story just a little bit here. I watched this show as a little kid, and I remember the show very much. I liked the show, and I thought it was pretty great. This was sort of the Star Wars era, and although this definitely was not Star Wars, it was perfect for television. In this game, you're playing Battlestar Galactica in a time before the time setting of the first Battlestar Galactica show. You're playing as a pilot, and it's the character Adama. Well, in the series, Commander Adama was the wise old leader in the series, and although I have nothing against the character of Adama, he was by far the least interesting character in the entire show. Why would you build a game around the one character no one cared about? I'm sure Commander Adama action figures were not flying off the shelves from toy stores. The Apollo and Starbuck figures probably were. I honestly thought if you were going to make a Battlestar Galactica game, you would either recreate the original series battles entirely, or just continue them from where that series left off. That first series just sort of ended. There was only one season, and we're not counting the terrible TV movie miniseries that happened 5 or 6 years later. That was embarrassing. But this was a famous science fiction show with only one season, and when it stopped, everyone was left hanging. I would have figured you probably would have wanted to continue from that point and move forward. That would have been excellent. But instead, we go backwards to a time that's before the show, to a character that nobody really cared about. I don't know why you would do that. So I'm on the first level, and I'm getting destroyed, and I don't know why. So at this point, I go online, and I want to see what I'm missing. I'm doing something wrong. But no, apparently the first level was known to be seriously difficult. So difficult, in fact, they had to program in a cheat to make this game easier. They programmed in a cheat in this game, which will have the characters of Apollo and Starbuck, whose characters I don't think were alive during the time of when this character is supposed to be fighting, but they're there now, and they become your wingmen. When this happens, you can select your desired target using the R2 button, and you press the up arrow to send your wingmen off to destroy him. So, it basically makes it so you can destroy Cylons really quickly. To do this, you go to the Extras menu, and you gotta press down twice, once to the left, down twice again, once up, and then 2 to the right. Okay, I tried this, and I enabled the cheat, and I got it to work in the first level. 10 minutes or so later, I lost the game again in the exact same way, with the cheat enabled. And this is a cheat that means every time you send the wingman off towards an enemy, you kill that enemy. I still lost the level. Level 1. I killed far more ships than the very first time I played this game, and I still lost. I find this idea of an overly difficult first level to be very confusing. There's usually an ascending progression of difficulty in most games. You don't want to destroy the gamer base the first thing, right? I mean, they just dropped the money on your game. This was what, 50 or 60 bucks back in the day. You don't want to discourage people straight away, right? You don't want them to pick up the game and bring it back to the store to get a refund. You want to keep people interested. Give them a little bit of success at the beginning, and you ramp up the difficulty as you go. It's really strange to me to alienate the user base so early. The flying in this game, it's pretty fast. Things are going to move pretty quick on screen, and there are a lot of laser fire blasts going everywhere, a lot of trails from ships turning around, and it makes this one feel a little more like an arcade style as opposed to a simulation. The ships all look great, the sound effects seem to be pretty accurate to the show, And of course I like hearing the Cylon enemies when they speak. How we're actually hearing them while we're flying our ship, I don't know. It's not really logical if you think about it. Why would you hear an enemy inside their cockpit while you're trying to destroy them while you're in your ship? It doesn't make sense to me, but it's a game, and it does make for a more entertaining experience. There are 14 missions in this game, and the idea is you need to succeed with the primary objective of a level to move on to the next level. Well, if you get past level 1, maybe, but it's really rough to do that. I think 14 levels also doesn't sound like a lot of levels to me, but the Viper ship that you fly, it handles really well. The graphics look great. I just wish this one was built better in terms of difficulty. It makes it really hard to want to keep playing. For games like this, especially flying games, I think it's important to pay attention to how you're getting the signal from your PS2 to your TV. Bigger TVs have different ratios, but once you get the aspect ratio worked out, I think this one looks great on screen and the flying is a lot of fun. I just wish it was a little more player-friendly. Well, that's all I have today for Battlestar Galactica for the PlayStation 2. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you on another video.
Weapon systems charged and ready.